All right, let's dive into something that sounds like it just shouldn't work: the paradox of surrender. We're going to explore this really profound question. How is it that letting go, actually giving up the fight, can be the very thing that makes us strong? It's a fascinating idea.
So let's start with a question that, probably hits home for every single one of us. Why do we pour so much of our energy into trying to control things that are, let's be honest, completely uncontrollable? It's this deep human struggle, and it's right at the heart of what we're talking about today. Well, the simple answer is it's not really your fault. Your mind is literally wired for control. It's a deep-seated survival instinct. See, your brain's number one job is to keep you safe and happy. And it thinks the best way to do that is by coming up with endless strategies to make sure life goes exactly the way you want it to. But then, well, life happens, right? We all eventually hit a wall. We run into a situation, maybe it's a loss, a health scare, a relationship that's falling apart, and it just completely steamrolls our usual bag of tricks. Our strategies totally fail, and we're left there feeling powerless, realizing we just can't think our way or fight our way out of this one. And this is where surrender comes into the picture. But, and this is a huge but, before we can even begin to understand it, we have to totally redefine it. Because what most of us think surrender is, well, it's just not what it is at all. Yeah, this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left column. That's everything we're afraid of, right? Defeat, failure, punishment, just giving up. But the real truth is over there on the right. See, real surrender isn't about giving up on the situation itself. It's about giving up the illusion that you were ever in control to begin with. It's when you stop strategizing and just accept what's real. It's interesting, even the original roots of the word in Hebrew and Greek literally mean to hand over or to deliver over. And that really points to this kind of two-part process. First, you hand your life over to a will that's bigger than your own. And second, you turn away from your own, small-minded, self-serving plans. Okay, so to really get the sheer weight of this, we need to look at maybe the most powerful example of surrender ever recorded. We're going to talk about the cup of suffering, the absolute ultimate test of letting go. In the Garden of Gethsemane, staring down unimaginable agony, Jesus prays these words. He starts by expressing that deeply human desire to just not have to go through it. Let this cup pass from me. But then comes the pivot, the moment of total surrender. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. So what is this cup or chalice he's talking about? It's this incredibly powerful metaphor for immense suffering. But it's also about something more. It's about accepting a divine plan that goes completely against every human instinct for comfort and self-preservation. And let's be absolutely clear about this. This was not some calm, serene Zen moment. Not at all. The text is very explicit that Jesus was in complete anguish. He was sorrowful to the point of death. This was a raw, gut-wrenching human struggle. He even says this to his disciples, and it just perfectly captures that internal war that we all feel, doesn't it? The spirit, your spirit, knows what needs to be done, but the human part of you, the flesh, just recoils from the pain. That struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's a fundamental part of what it means to be human and to surrender. Okay. So that is the ultimate example. But how do we take this epic, massive concept and bring it down to earth? How do we actually use it in our own lives, especially when we're not in the middle of a massive crisis? Let's check out some practical ways to do this. So from a psychological angle, you can practice this in small ways. You could even do it right now. First, just invite yourself into this present moment. Then you ask yourself these questions. What is it like right now if I just let everything be exactly as it is? If I don't try to fix it or change it, what am I actually experiencing? And then the last step, and it's the most important, just feel it. Here, now. No judgment. Now check this out. Let's look at a parallel set of practices, but from a spiritual viewpoint. Things like creating a daily rhythm that reminds you of God, or using little symbols at your desk. You see what's happening? Both the psychological and the spiritual approaches are aiming for the exact same thing, to break our addiction to worrying about the future and to ground us in the reality of right now. So that brings us to the big question, why? Why do all this? Why go through the discomfort of letting go of control? Well, because this is where the paradox really pays off. The reward for giving up that control is just extraordinary.
Psychologically, the moment we finally stop fighting, there's this profound sense of relief. It's like putting down a heavyweight. You find this surprising clarity when you can finally admit, I don't know. You get access to the present moment in a totally fresh way, and that can lead to real gratitude. And sometimes, yeah, even joy. And then you look at the spiritual fruits, and you see this incredible echo, a deeper union with the divine, letting go of that need to manipulate everything, seeing each moment as sacred. It's amazing, right? Whether you approach this through your mind or your spirit, the result is strikingly similar. A life with more presence, more peace, and more genuine connection. Oh, I just love this quote. It captures the feeling so perfectly. We spend so much of our lives trying to paddle upstream, fighting against the current with everything we've got. Surrender is that moment when we finally just stop, put down the paddle, and realize the river was there all along, ready to carry us. It's that feeling of being supported by something so much bigger and wiser than ourselves. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What would you find right here, in this present moment, if you weren't so busy trying to control the next one? What peace, what clarity, what simple truth is just waiting for you to notice it?